Damn.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Lean and Mean Academy, where we talk about one truck, big profits. Today, we got my buddy Cody Yarbrough in the house. What is up, my man?
What's going on, dude? How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, buddy. We want to get to it real quick for you. We want to make this video real quick, kind of pack it full of value for you. Cody and I were talking back and forth, and we decided to name this video, Don't Start a Pressure Washing Business Before You Watch This Video. And the reason that we did that, Cody, right, is because we have seen success and we have seen guys fail, right? I'm on the marketing end, you're on the equipment end and the training end. And we have seen guys who have been able to really succeed quickly. We've seen guys who are struggling, and we also see guys who have, failed and sold their equipment. So we were hashing it out. Cody, tell me about this tale of three trucks. All right. Three different businesses, three different guys, three completely separate outcomes.
Yeah. So my German Shepherd's coming out here trying to eat me, but really, we're just this year, 2021, as of right now, we're about 350 units. When I say units, I mean trailer skids that are out the door in 2021. So with that comes a lot of success stories and some failures. And we just actually heard of a guy today who had been calling us looking to buy a trailer, and he didn't pull the trigger. Well, he found one of our trailers that another guy had that has had it a couple months, never used it, and sold it and took a little bit of a loss. So that's a fail. But that who knows why that one happened. But I've got three specific stories here that kind of highlight some of the things that can go wrong. So there's a ton of money that you can make in this. And the thing about it is such a low threshold of entry business and a high profit margin business that it's very attractive. And it's easy to think that, well, I can just go out there and rock it. And you can, but it's kind of, you can have some screw ups. And so I got three guys, and I won't call their names because I don't know if they'll watch this video. And I know all of these guys very, very well. They're all right here living in my county. So Roanoke, where we live, is like the cleanest place on planet Earth because a lot of local guys have saw my success. And since we're not running a truck, we kind of left a void in the local market, and they're kind of trying to take advantage of that. And that's great. So one local guy, I've known this kid since he was a kid. He's about 25 or so right now, and he bought a trailer from us. He's had his trailer about 2.5, 3 months. He has hit the ground running. Dude's doing awesome. He's currently got more on his books than he makes all year long at his current job, and he's getting ready to pull the trigger and turn in his 2 weeks notice here in a couple of weeks and go full time. And that, like I said, he just got his trailer, I want to say, into February. So dude is crushing it. He's a smart young guy, but he's doing an excellent job. He's had very little, troubleshooting problems that have boggled him. So he's doing really good. Another guy that I know, they bought a skid from us, and about 2 months in it, they wound up selling the skid, took a loss on the skid. They made some money, but they kind of gave up. They surrendered, and we'll talk about why that is. And then the third one, I know these guys really, really good too, and they'll probably wind up watching this, so they'll know who I'm talking about. But they're doing okay, and they're aware of what I'm going to say about them. They're kind of riding the roller coaster. They'll do great 1 week, and then 1 week is kind of hit and miss. And so there's kind of the spectrum there. You got failure, you could call it failure on this end. You've got a really good success story on this end, and then kind of in the middle, you got what a lot of guys I think are right there in the middle. That's really common, especially in your first year. And if you're in that middle, don't get too discouraged because a lot of it is you're figuring out business too. So not only are you learning power washing, soft washing, and roof cleaning and all this stuff, but you're also learning how to be your own boss, learning the responsibilities, learning, QuickBooks and mileage and all that crap that goes along with it. So yeah, that's what we were talking about. And we're going to dive into those three stories there, and hopefully you guys can take something away from it that'll help you.
Absolutely. So, with the guy who is, first let's start off with, I always like to get the bad news first. Let's start off with the failure situation. What, just from an overarching standpoint, what do you think is kind of the main theme here that happened or didn't happen that caused this situation?
I'm pretty confident that I can can really nail this one down because I know these folks really well. And this particular guy, the failure guy, he is not a failure overall because in his life, because he's been running another company. They got out of this one company that they've ran for years, and they've made tons of money, very successful. Well, he kind of felt like it was time to retire out of that, and the soft washing was just something different. He's going to do that for a while. So let's preface it with 20 years of solid business. He understands business, and that's what he's went back to. He's wound up going back to what he knew. So I think there's two things here. Number one is that previous industry he was involved with was the kind of industry where you would get on a project and you would stay there for weeks and maybe possibly 2 months. So you're only really ever working for, call it half a dozen, 10 clients a year at the most. And so you don't have to grab a lot of eyeballs, right, to make your year. You've only got to grab 50 sets of eyeballs a year of people that are interested, and then get your dozen and you're good. So that was a problem for them, because in our market, it's completely different. You're gonna do 3 a day, if you're rolling. And so you gotta really be visible. So I think they failed at marketing. They just didn't understand the dynamic there of, it doesn't matter if you have a rig, that's just the mechanical thing that gets the job done. So I think they failed there. And then the second thing is, I don't think they burned that bridge behind them. They always knew they could fall back and go into that other thing. And we're going to call it a failure for our intents and purposes, because most of the guys that we're talking to on this video, they don't have a fallback plan of a couple $100,000 a year gig that they've been doing, and they know they can fire that right back up. And so if you don't burn whatever bridges that you just crossed, you're going to be really tempted to not go all in on your marketing, on your education, on your, these are the guys that have so much trouble troubleshooting very minor things on their system because they don't want to understand it. They want to hold the soft wash one and get a check. And they don't really want to become, and this, you got a truck, you got to really understand that truck. You got to understand it, because if you're relying on getting that job done to get paid, there ain't nothing going to stop me. Like, a blown fuse is not going to stop me from getting this money. Like, you hear me? It's not going to do it. I'll cut the fuse out of the line. Like, I'll box up with solder. I'll do something. Like, get it done. And so I think they had 2 big failures. And another thing, a minor thing I think they did wrong is, I taught them, but they weren't really listening. They didn't really look at me as an expert, because I found out later they were like, Cody said you can soft wash in metal roofs, but you're going to have to get up there with surface cleaner. So, no, you're not. No, you're not.
You don't say that.
You're not listening. I'm telling you, this is how you do it. You gotta, just because you were successful in this last business, don't think you know everything. Like, know where you're at. So I think those things combined to make it where they just didn't make it in this, and they kind of went back to what they were doing.
Totally. And so I guess that made it real easy. I have a guy who I love to tell the story of, Mike Conrad. He's out of Minnesota. Mike obviously has Footbridge as his web team. That's how I know Mike, right? He started off, but he was making a 6-figure salary with Pella windows and doors. And so I can only imagine, I didn't have a bridge to burn, frankly. Nothing back there. You know what I mean? So I can only imagine the juggling act, mentally, emotionally, what it goes on when you have this thing that's paying all your vacations. And, I think the dissatisfaction of that has to surmount the pain of building this business, right? You have to really not like the situation you're in at your job in order to make this work. But, before we jump into the second guy, Cody, let's talk about, because this guy wasn't trained. He obviously didn't know how to market either. So let's talk about the Serious Starter event that we got coming up. Tell them a little bit about it.
Well, we're going to slap ourselves on the hand a little, because we get really busy, and heck, we forget to market our own crap. So
we forget to market our own event.
We're like, we need to say something about that. Coming up, and stop it. A couple of, what's it, June 4th and 5th, right? Is that the dates?
That is correct.
Yeah, see, I don't even know, and it's at my place. But yeah, it's June 4th and 5th. This will be our 3rd event. We've had 2 great events so far. Awesome people been there. Got those guys trained up So what we do is on Serious Starter is we dive in on day one on the technical stuff. We do a big half a day classroom presentation. We cover a lot of the stuff that they didn't do correctly, do's and don'ts, troubleshooting, how to run your business on the hands-on portion. We go eat lunch. Lunch is provided. After lunch, we go out in the field and we'll clean a house. We'll do a roof, siding, driveway, whatever I can put together that's, not too much of a drive from the shop. We'll actually do a job and show you how quickly we can do it, doing it the right way. So that's pretty cool. That's day one. Day two, my boy right here jumps in there. And usually day one, guys are kind of getting it. And even the ladies that have come out and hung with us, they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I learned some stuff. That's just great. Really feel good about it. Day two, they're like, Aaron comes in and he just Super Saiyan 3, like, and, because you just don't know what you don't know on the marketing side. And so it's a ton of info. If you're coming, bring a notebook and a pen. Okay.
It's pretty intense. Yeah, it's pretty intense. I like to call it drinking from a fire hose because, that's the point. My thing is that guys really have something implementable. The worst thing, I've been to events before, not necessarily in our industry or whatever, but just in general. And it's all theoretical,
Right.
Ambiguous type of coaching and stuff like that. And we don't really you and I don't really deal with anything. It is like hard, tangible, like things that you need to do with your marketing. And I've seen it 100 times from having the channel, thousands of times, right? I got guys reach out to me all the time. I got guys who are winning, guys who aren't, right? And they usually, the guys who aren't, they just actually won't take the first step.
Right.
They won't learn to do some of the things that we're coaching here, right? And then they hire some really cheap company to do some of this stuff, and then they get burned, and then they're mad, and what I mean? I'm like, some stuff you should not do, like build your website. There are things when it comes to your Google My Business and some really cool optimization stuff that I'm going to teach you that's going to make it perform really, really well. It's going to outperform the competition. And then I'm also going to teach you how I rank stuff nationally to build major relevance, drive a lot of traffic for your perfect customer, right?
Yeah.
It's
stuff
all
stuff. The stuff that Aaron teaches is stuff that we've implemented in our business. And I've learned it from him. And this is, so guys, listen, it's not a 2-day pitch fest. Okay. We're not there to sell you stuff. If you want to order a rig while you're there, cool beans, but we're not going to push. We don't care. Okay. We're just going to hang out, do a bunch of training, make sure that you got Q&A, make sure when you leave, you're ready to go back and get to work and make some money. It's $700 for the ticket. You can make that back on your first job. Promise, like Scouts Honor, you can. So it's a really cool 2-day class, but I've implemented a lot of that stuff that Aaron is teaching. Some of it I already knew. Some of it I've tweaked since me and you kind of got together, and I gleaned a lot from you. But here's just my example. We went from 300,000. Last year was 2.9 million. This year we're on track to do 5.5 million. Okay, so how do you get there? And you're not going to do 5.5 million on a wash truck, okay? But we don't make 5.5 million. That's a gross number, understand? But we've implemented the same exact. It's the same game, right? It's just in a different little niche over here. So it's a very cool class. We'd love you guys to come hang out with us for 2 days. And if you want to, I guess you're going to put a link down below, right?
Yep. First link in the description. First link in the comments. Get your tickets to the Serious Starter event. There is no other event like this in the industry. I promise you, like Cody said, there's nothing to sell here. We really, I don't care. I'm here to teach you. I literally want you to leave with your brain exploded, because that just, when you go back and implement it, it looks good on me. So you guys are winning. It looks good on me, baby.
I think we've already sold about 12 tickets. So there's about half the class or so. So there's about 15 tickets or so available. Whatever. I think we capped it at 30 or something like that. So it's not a huge event. There's not 100 people there. We may only sell 25, and that's fine. Honestly, it doesn't matter, but whoever's coming, we want you to come and be serious, because it's Serious Starter.
Oh yeah. You're going to get trained, baby. It's going to be, you're going to leave tired. Okay. So come to the event, click a link, grab a ticket. Cody, tell me about this second guy. So this second dude he's riding the lead roller coaster, which is a very scary place, especially when November hits. All right.
Oh,
so talk to me about this.
So these guys in category 2 here, they're doing okay. They're making some money. Some of the things, they called me the other day and was like, hey, we just got a call from Home Advisor, and we were going to sign up with them. I was like, no, no, do not go that way. I don't know why, like Keanu Reeves right there. Like, no, I'll go. So, they're not. They know because I've told them, but they're not implementing a lot of the stuff, And the thing about them is they got their unit right when like the spring rush hit, and so the leads are just kind of falling out of the sky. And we get a lot of phone calls, to the shop from us for 20 years of washing, and so I'm giving them leads. I'm not
loving on them a little bit.
Yeah, I give them to all of our local guys. I kind of divvy them out evenly. And a couple of months ago, I told them, I was like, hey, price got to go up on these leads. Like, I had to start charging y'all something for these leads.
Price got to go up, bro.
Well, what I didn't say was the price must increase. I didn't say that. I said the price got to go up. So
that would be
I told them it's like, $20 or something. But they were getting a lot of those, and they were getting a lot of, word of mouth from the initial people. Oh, yeah, come to my house. Well, once all that fades off, you gotta have a baseline, and that's something that that you preach a lot on day 2. But they're doing this. They make a bunch of money, and then they go market, and then they make some money, and then they're out of work, and they go market. So that's sucky, and I've been there too, and it's not fun. You can survive doing this, but it's just super not fun. It just, when you're here and then something on your rig breaks, it'll make you want to throw in the towel. So you're on a mountain, you made $2,000, today, and made $4,000 this week, or you're like, dude, we got to go knock on some doors, like, so.
Oh man, yeah. And so tell me, like, what is about that mentality? Is it a growth thing? Do you think like they just need more info, or like how I grew up, bro? Like I could literally beat people over the head in my town. All right, I grew up in Alabama too. And you could beat people over the head with needing some of this stuff. AJ ain't gonna do it.
Well, I can see the difference between the next guy, the successful guy that we're going to talk about, and them. You can't drive anywhere in 50 miles from, we're kind of in the middle of about 5 towns. Yeah. You got Auburn, Alabama. You got LaGrange, Georgia, Noonan, Georgia, which is South Atlanta, Anniston, Oxford, Alabama, and Alexander City, which is Lake Martin. Mm-hmm. You go any of those places, you're going to see about 6 of his signs. He's got signs everywhere. And I hate signs, right. But he's pushing every angle. He's got GMB rolling. He's got Facebook rolling. He's got website. He's got signs. Dude is everywhere. And so he's getting the eyeballs. And they're kind of doing a couple of those things, but they're not all in.
Right. So they're just not fully committed, or, maybe the drive's not there. There's some guys who just don't have the drive to learn. If they learn, they don't implement, right? I mean, yeah. You got to implement what we're going to talk about, because, I've seen it firsthand just by being kind of on the out, and you have as well, being on the outside looking in, where I have a bunch of guys who I train. And so I'm able to see who attacks, right? I'm able to see that linebacker mentality. You know what I mean? They're just like, you tell them what to do and they do it, and they're like reporting back in 6 months. They're like, bro, I'm making like $20K a month. I'm like, yeah. Like, they don't go.
There was a couple of those guys at the last series. Well, maybe in the first series starter. Me and you talked about it after he left. Like, that guy's going to crush it. And the thing is that if you're the middle guy and you're up and down, you may still be okay, but what you don't know is winter's coming. And so you can't piddle fart around with this stuff. Like, you may think, well, I'm still making more than I was in my old job. That's true, but this is a seasonal gig, and you don't know when your truck's going to go down. You don't know. You're not planning on like retirement. You're not banking on 401k. You're not banking. There's more crap that you don't see here. So you need to like dominate. And then that way, once all the dust settles, you shook out okay.
Bro, let me tell you, my first year, Cody, I couldn't even afford Christmas gifts, man. That's like, you know what I mean? I started in November, so obviously that first year, but the second year, dude, it was better, but it wasn't, you have to be in this for a while. You got to commit. And you got to commit to marketing hard, and we're going to teach you guys that as well. So that's the struggle position, right? They either don't know what they don't know, right?
Yeah.
Or they know and won't implement, right? Now let's talk about this third guy, right? I like this guy, man. He seemed like a hustler, a man after my own heart. Tell
He
me
is.
about this guy.
I've already talked about him a little bit. He's a young guy. He's got a family. He's, it's just a down to earth Alabama salt of the earth dude. But he is dominating. The dude is just you can't knock him down. He's like a punching bag. You hit him, he comes right back up. So he has called us 0 times for troubleshooting. And I know he's had, issues like everybody has, little stuff, but he is like, I'm going to figure this out. And I tell guys this all the time. I can walk you through getting back up and running, but your brain didn't learn. Just if you figure it out, your brain is going to write that code. And the next time that happens, you'll be like, that I can fix that. But it's a 0 at that point. So he's just all in. Like this is his baby, and he's going to make it work. And he is, man, I'm telling you, dude's marketing like crazy. He landed a $10,000 job the other day. Like, come on, cuz, what's up? That's awesome. He's doing it, man. It's great.
That's great. So he's just hustling. He's marketing his tail off. He's in it. He's fixing stuff. Guys, you got to know this is a maintenance intensive business. I know we say that on our videos, but guys who aren't, decently handy or willing to learn how to be handy, this may be your learning experience on how to work on some equipment or, change some fuses or troubleshoot some air leaks or, whatever it is. When you start putting corrosive chemicals and high pressure or, just high concentrations of corrosive chemicals in an area, you're going to have some problems, right? Because those two things equal, what would it be? Erosion or some sort. I don't know if that's the word, but something
it's never really normally a lot of expensive maintenance, but it's just piddly stuff. And you just have to stay on top of it.
That's right.
That kills a lot of guys. And then the other thing is, just like you said, they're just not implementing. And he's doing it. He's just like, hey, I've done some jobs and I can see it. Like you do stub stack, right? On your
Substack Friday.
The proof is right here that there's money to be made, but you can't. I'm not going to let the gremlins come and get it. I'm not going to let complacency come and get it. I'm not going to let, taking days off in the spring, guys. That's a no-no. You don't want to do that. Like you gotta stay rolling in the spring, dog. Like you got
days off in the spring and summer, bud.
Nope. We'll take days off in the wintertime.
Because you're going to get some days off whether or not you want days off, all right? They're going to be some bleak times, all right? All right, so you just got to be aware. You got to stack up that money all year, knowing this is a seasonal deal. But, guys, listen, join us at the Serious Starter event. Cody and I are going to be there. It's going to be fun, man. We feed y'all both days, and it's an intimate event. It's built that way. We want to make it to where you guys can come into an environment where everyone is serious. There's no one at this event who is not committed to getting this business seriously started and dominating it. And that's what we want to surround ourselves with, but that's what we want to surround you guys with who come to this event, okay? Because you need to network with some of these people to where you guys can grow together and, kind of tag team on what each other are doing. The networking there is excellent.
We've done that. We've done that. We're looked at as like these guys in the industry, and we are, but we've done that with our little circle. Like we don't just let any old jackass in the circle, like because you're going to ruin it. So you want serious people. You want to network with that kind of mindset. So that's great. It's just a kind of a free thing of the event is you get to meet other folks that are going to be going through the same type of stuff. So that's really cool.
Absolutely. So guys, if you're wanting to come, go ahead, click the first link in the description, first link in the comments. You're going to see Cody and myself there. I appreciate you guys stopping by the video. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Hit the like button for me because it helps out that pressure washing algorithm. All right.
Hey, look, if y'all don't mind, buy something on my website so I can cut this porch light on.
Cody about to disappear. Literally all I see, it's like just dark around his head. He got a beard, his dark.
We're doing a remodel and they haven't wired up my light out here yet.
Oh no, dude, that's all right. That's all right. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming by. We will see you at the Serious Starter event. Take it easy.
If you try to do it on a 5/8, it just can't flow what the pump's trying to flow, and it'll shut it off. It'll actually burn that pump up.
show you a DIY version, but very, very effective.
Some feedback on series starter.
It was great. Learned Cody really was able to dive in deep on everything that you can see on the YouTube channel and answer those questions that you always have that you can't ask them when you're watching those videos. And then Aaron's portion, was.
What'd you think, dude?
Man, it was great. Great 2 days of classes, and I learned a lot. I'm ready to get started.
Well, did you learn anything?
A lot, more than I even could have imagined, really.